So this is Alyssa from African Angel Doula Services. And I'm so excited to have you on to chat about doulas and everything that doulas do today. So
It's amazing, yes.
I just want to hear about your story. I know personally, I know you. So I know you used to be an accountant and you're a mom to many children. And the doula thing is this new adventure and this calling that you're on at the moment. So can you tell us a little bit about how you became a doula?
Okay. So in 2019, my daughter-in-law was pregnant. And I've always wanted to be a midwife, always wanted to be in the birthing space. And I thought, okay, let me see if I can help her through her labor and if I'm not going to get too squeamish, and because I didn't know how I'd react and stuff like that. So I decided to, okay, help her through. So obviously I attended all the gynae appointments, but she went through public hospital, but we just did some backup gynae checkups and things like that. And the day she went into labor, then I was there with her from about 5 in the morning. I enjoyed being there with her, and I managed to help her to stay calm as best we could, because obviously it was the first time for her as well as for me. Got her to the hospital, and they wouldn't let me in, but I kind of guided my son. I told him, okay, do this, keep her calm, help her to breathe, like do certain things with her so that she can, stay calm. And as the nurses, they were checking every time. They're like, aren't you going home? And I'm like, no, I'm here until she's born, until the baby's here. And then she was born about 12:15. So that's my beginning journey of wanting to be a doula. And that was the best way for me to get into the birthing space, and the easiest way, because I just needed to do a 6-month course with wombs and I could be a doula. But then with my luck, we went into COVID. I think I had my first class. The second class, I couldn't attend, or something happened. And then the third class that I had to attend, my mom passed away. And then like 2 weeks later, we went into the lockdown. So we were completely, couldn't go back into hospitals, couldn't do anything. So what would have been 6 months ended up being a whole year. But I think it was good. I think everything worked out the way it needed to. And then also in that time, I spoke with Roweda from Birth on Fifth. Before I didn't even know she was busy building the place or anything. And we had a chat, and I told her, look, this is my passion and this is what I'd like to do. And when she built and she got Birth on Fifth ready, she called me and said, like, okay, you're one of my doulas. And that's how I got involved with her. Yeah, so that's kind of my background to my doula, how I became a doula and stuff like that.
And prior to being a doula?
Prior to being a doula, I worked in the bank from about 17 when my son was born, my eldest son, and worked there 17 years, then decided to resign. In the interim, when my fourth son was born, I started studying, started my degree. That was 2007. Took me 8 years to qualify. Got my degree, and then I did my articles to become an accountant. That I qualified at the tender age of 40. I became an accountant. Yeah, so that was and then I ended up working at a firm in Allen's Neck, where I became the partner, and now currently owning my own accounting firm and running my own little business, as well as the doula work and stuff like that. Yeah.
As well as the doula work. Yeah, everyone seems to have two things that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could
so
do
that's,
it full time. That would be amazing. But yeah, it's at the moment.
yeah, I think at the moment there's still a lot of uncertainty about what doulas are and what they do. And it's difficult then for doula businesses to do anything because you've got such a few amounts of mothers that want to get involved or know that they want to get involved or even know that it exists.
Yes. There's a lot of people
Hopefully
that
we
don't
can
know who
change
we
that
are.
or what
Yeah.
you do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. So you studied with wombs.
Yes.
And it was supposed to be a 6-month course. Can you go into a little bit of information about what you're studying and everything? Because so doulas are not medical professionals, so that they're not midwives, they're not everything like that. But they're not just anyone off the street at the same time. You guys study a lot. So can you go into a little bit of what you've studied and what you had to learn and do to become a doula?
Okay. So it was a 6-month course, like I said, through wombs. Professor, or actually she's now Dr. Barbara Hanrahan, runs the course. And you obviously have to be a mum firstly. That's one of the first things they want. You can't just be a doula without having, because at least you need to understand the process of birth, pregnancy, breastfeeding, all those types of things.
From the inside.
So yes, literally from the inside. Yes.
Yeah.
So and then they teach you the physiology of birth. They teach you the different stages of labor. They teach you basically everything. Not everything a midwife knows, because like we said, we're not medical, but so that we understand how the body works during labor, what's the signs of labor, what's the danger signs, also so that we can also then tell the mom, no, you need to speak to your doctor or your midwife, because that sounds a bit dangerous. So please let us rather get a medical person involved first, and then we take it from there. So a lot of studying, yes, and then we also always upskilling. WOMS has 2 AGMs a year. They have different courses during the year. They're always sending out updated information, all evidence-based, all medically based and stuff like that. So we're not just, well, I don't consider myself a fly-by-night where I just do random things. I'm obviously very listen to the medical side, as well as obviously the heart side is you want the mom to birth naturally, and you want everything to be beautiful and peaceful and calm and things like that. But it doesn't always work out like that. So kind of I would say my philosophy would be that I would love every single mom to birth naturally, because that is how we were made. God made us that way, to birth that way. We were created to birth babies. Unfortunately, it's not always the case. So if there's a C-section involved and needed, obviously mom's safety and baby safety is of utmost importance. So if the doctor says that's the way we need to go, we stand with the mom, we advise the mom, we explain to the mom as best we can. We also do prep the moms before, to keep in the back of their minds that, if things go a bit awry, they need to understand that if there's a medical emergency, they need to understand that the doctor is doing what's best for them and their baby. Because ultimately, we want a healthy mom and a healthy baby. We don't want anything to happen to anybody. So
That's definitely it.
I think also from your experience, that I stood by you. We were there with the Caesar and everything. So
everything. Yeah.
Plans changed like in the blink of an eye, but we were still able to have the birth that you needed, and a gorgeous son was born to you through that. So,
just to update anyone that's watching, Alyssa was my doula, and I went into an induction, which turned into a C-section, and Alyssa was there from before I was induced all the way through the C-section. She was in the theatre. She was taking photos and supporting us, and then she stood. Her and her waiter, my midwife, stood there and sent me a salad at the end, and then they left at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to go home after everything. So it's a full day, full support, full everything through the whole stuff.
process.
But I'm glad you brought up also preparing the moms, because you don't just start when you go into labor. Can you go into a little bit about where you start? Moms come to you when, and what do you do with them?
So with the birthing center, we don't normally meet our moms beforehand. It's kind of like we have a 5-week rotation, so we don't normally meet the moms. It's kind of like I meet you on the day we do the birth, and that's it. But in my private practice in African Angels, what we do is if a mom contacts me, from however far she is pregnant, so like I had a mom contact me, she was probably like 10 weeks pregnant, and this is the mom that birthed on Sunday. So she was like, okay, now she knew she wanted a doula. She knew and we met. She found me on the WOMS website, because we are listed there. And she contacted me. We had a meet and greet, because I like to meet my moms first, because we need to also connect. It's a very sacred, I always tell my moms, very sacred space that we're going into. So you need to be comfortable with the person that's there. You don't want to be uncomfortable, or, don't like what they say. You don't gel with them, or you don't, you're not happy with them or whatever. So you need to understand that it's sacred, and we need to connect also, because it's a journey that we walk together, which then becomes almost like family. Because we still connect right now, myself and Ash, we still connect, we still talk. We're always still involved with the babies and things like that, even afterwards. So yes, so from any stage that you're pregnant, up to even if it's just 4 weeks before you're giving birth, a mom can connect with me. I would prefer the earlier connection because then it just gives us more time, it gives us more prep. And like I said, then we can get them through antenatal classes, we can get them through any questions or concerns they have. If they want to switch gynaes, if you want to switch to a midwife at any stage, we can always advise them and assist them and those types of things. Because some moms don't know that there are other options out there. They don't even know that some are just like, no, it's a hospital birth and that's it. But some of them don't realize you can do birthing centers. Okay, we don't have our Genesis, which we loved very much. But we do have Oxford, and we do have other we have other birthing centers around the country and in Gauteng and in Johannesburg. So there are other options, and midwife care is just as good as gynae care, if not slightly better. If not better, because they
depending.
are yes, and also they tend to spend more time with the patient. They tend to connect more with the patient, whereas a gynae appointment is like, okay, I'm there at my appointment. Hi, how are you? We done? Okay, no questions. Let's move on. I have another patient in the waiting room. Whereas with a midwife, and having seen how they do practice and having been in appointments, I know that they spend more time with the parents, not only the mom but the parents. Yeah, both mom and dad are involved.
Yeah, yes. And that's another thing to bring up. Like it's not just about the mom. Yes. The partner is there, whether it's the father or a partner or anything like that, even in the birth. So as a doula, you also create a connection with the partner, the father of the baby or the partner, the other parents. Yes. And then how does it work within the birth room? Just to explain to other people, how do you work with the partner in the birth? You're not there to replace them.
No. We're definitely not there to replace them. We're
Which
there to
is a common misconception. People think, the higher the doula, then the dad doesn't have to do anything.
No. Daddy has to be there. Daddy was part of the whole process, so daddy has to be there. So in the birthing, in the room, when mom's in labor and that, we tend to ask dad to help, maybe to rub mom. We will assist them also to show them how to rub mom's back or to give some counter pressure on the hips, so that, because strangely enough, you would think, while I'm in labor, I don't want heavy touching. It should all be calm. And no, the moms actually want that hard pressure on their backs and on their hips and things like that, because it actually relieves the pain, which is so amazing. You wouldn't think that would help. And also, we want oxytocin in the room, which is the love hormone, which helps with the whole process of labor. So if mom and dad are holding hands and touching and talking, and it also creates such an atmosphere for mom to birth baby naturally, because there's all this love that firstly created the baby, which is going to help birth the baby. So what we guide the partners, and if mom only wants the partner, then we guide him and tell him what to do,
help her.
Yes, exactly. So we're not just there to say, okay, no, we're busy with mom, you just sit there and watch us. No, he needs to be involved, and in most cases the men do get involved, because men want to fix. They want to fix everything. They want to make sure their wives are okay or their partners are okay and they're not in pain. And at that point, they actually cannot fix this. They just have to let the process happen. So we help them and show them that they can still be there for the partner, for the mom, and that type. And in most cases, they're like also so amazed that they could be part of this entire process, because it's their child too at the end of the day. So,
and I think also it's someone to turn to when labor gets a bit crazy. They can be like, is this normal? Should I be freaking out? And then the doula's there to say, like, this is okay. This is what's happening. This is what we're going to do.
Yes, yes. And I think also having the knowledge of what's going on in the room also, and also that, if something happens, you can say to mom, no, that's quite normal. It's okay. Everything's fine. Or no, wait, hang on. Let's get the nurse, or let's get the midwife or the doctor. At least there's someone that can almost foresee or assist them in that. So it's not just them are left alone in the room and every 4 hours being checked on and someone, that type of thing. So
no, exactly.
Yeah. So
because that happens. Especially if you're birthing with an RB, they'll go into labor, they'll get to the hospital, and the partner's not there to hold their hand. the nurses will check in on them. They'll say, right, they're sitting here. An hour or two later, they'll come back. They'll check on them again. And oftentimes the parents are just sitting by themselves, not really knowing what's going on.
Yes.
So in
Not
a
knowing what
situation
to
like that,
ask, or
and
even to, like,
or what they can
what
and
do I
can't
ask?
do.
Yes, what can we do?
Mm.
What can't we do? Can the mom eat? Can she move? Can't she move? Must she just lay there? At least with the doula being there, you can have them say to you, okay, no, mom, let's walk around a bit, bounce on the ball a bit, place them, with my atmosphere, what I like to do is I always ask the moms if they'd like to put up some candles. We've got nowadays, they have those very amazing candles which we don't have to light, so we don't have to burn the whole building down. It's those ones you get at China Mall and stuff like that.
The
You
little
just
switch
switch
on
off.
them.
And they're quite bright and they're quite nice. I mean, the ones we had on Sunday even had looked like there was a flame flickering, and there was nothing, but it looked amazing. But it was calm, and it was, they had their little speaker, played some music in the background and stuff like that. So I always say to the moms, have like a bit of a playlist going, something that that keeps you calm, that keeps you, that you would like. So we don't tell them what they must have or mustn't have. It's up to them. Some of them like to have some smelling salts. Some of them like to have, some candles going. Others like fairy lights. Others like, it just depends on the person.
But you help them prepare for what's going to come. So they can, when they get there, they know what to expect.
Yes.
And then you would arrive with them or whatever and kind of guide them through the whole thing. Just quickly, so you birth and birthing centers, but doulas also allowed in hospitals. I think that's another question, is whether they're allowed to come with. Can I have someone, and do I have to,
Okay, so from my experience now in the last couple of months now, the hospital are actually quite happy to have us there, because also then the nurses don't need to be there they only check on you maybe every 2 to 4 hours, dependent on how far you are and stuff like that. So they're really not as interactive as would be with a midwife. A midwife would kind of be with you most of the time, also. So they're quite happy they were happy to have me there. They were happy to have us keep the mom calm. They were happy to let us move around with her. The Santon Mediclinic especially has got birthing balls. They've got the pool. They've got a bathtub and stuff like that. They've got amazing open showers where the mom can go and stand in the shower, and the little like the stool that slides out from the wall, where they can sit on even and just be in the shower and stuff like that. So they've become, I think, a little bit more willing to let the mom be more mobile, whereas instead of just letting them lay in the bed for 12 hours and not do anything. So they're quite happy. That's why I say they're quite happy to have doulas there, because we tend to almost be like an in-betweener for them. Not taking their place either, or taking anybody's place, but being able to say to them, okay, look, mom's at this point, please can you come in and check, something happened. Or if the waters break, at least there's someone to say, look, mom's water broke, please can you come and check and see what's going on and stuff like that, to alert obviously the gynaes and stuff like that,
and to start the processes.
Yes. Yeah.
All the outside stuff starts to happen. I suppose also then you can go recall someone, and the partner can stay with the birthing mother. Whereas
yes, instead of leaving her all by herself,
instead of run off and be like, I don't know what's going on, and then she's by herself, and he's it just adds that, and like you said, it's that connection between the two sides, the medical and the couple.
Yes, exactly.
It just adds that little bit of a link to go through it all. And for you, there's many hospitals and stuff like that. Have you said Santon Mediclinic? Where else have you worked at? What other hospitals?
Morningside. I've been at Morningside Mediclinic as well. I've birthed at Mum at Park Lane. So I've been to Park Lane as well. Those are the few that I have been at. And then obviously Oxford and Birth on Fifth in London.
At the centres. Yeah.
Yes, at the birthing centres. Yeah. So those are the kind of the places. But like I said, they seem to be warming up to having us around. It would be nice if every single mum could have a doula. That would be like the most amazing thing, in public as well as private. It would be amazing to have that. So I also do work with the foundation, 1,000 Days of Grace, where we go into the Himamusa as well. So we're also trying to work with them to try and get doulas in there on an almost more full-time basis, where those moms that are in the provincial hospitals can also have support. Because most times they don't have any support. They don't even have a partner with them because they don't allow partners in, as much as they say they do. But when it comes to, the end of it, they don't actually allow the partners in at all. And those moms are like really lonely and there's
And
nobody to be
vulnerable.
with them. Yes.
So they often haven't had the same support throughout their pregnancy as well.
Exactly.
So
yes.
they're in a very different space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and I think 1,000 Days of Grace also does bags,
yes,
providing stuff for moms, new moms.
Yes, we do. And also a bit of breastfeeding support. We try and we go and visit them at the hospitals and try and help them with breastfeeding also, because also some of them don't have the assistance, like from a lactation consultant perspective and things. So yes, there's all of that we also do. So, well, in my space that I work, we do all those types of things as well. So it's not only private work, there's also volunteer work and things like that that we do as well.
Yeah, because it's a calling.
Yes,
I think,
with Birth on Fifth and Yoga Mama. Those are the So we all
I'll definitely link in the notes about 1,000 Days of Grace if anyone wants to see the website and donate as well, because there's an option to donate or help out.
Yes.
Because it's a what I've seen with all the birth workers is that it's a calling. There's something inside of you that said, I need to be here to support these people. And I think it's amazing. It's just something that comes forth from you, and you just want to help and be loving and everything. All the moms and the partners, and just see the little babies come in and then let them be with their families.
Yes, and also to help them obviously postpartum as well, because I mean a lot of moms, and from experience, that a lot of moms don't have the support. Sometimes there isn't a family member that can be there for them, or a granny or that type of thing that can assist afterwards and be with them. So having that postnatal support where doula can come in and just, even if it just means holding the baby while mom goes and have a shower, or putting on a load of washing for the mom, or just washing their dishes or anything, it's just that it's that type of support too that we'd like to also, I think from my perspective, would like to provide further in that sense, because some moms really do not have anybody. I mean, I had a couple also, mom and dad, no family in South Africa, so no support. And they first-time parents don't know what to do with the baby. So as much as you have the WhatsApp group and things like that, and you can chat to them over the phone. It's just more personal having a person there who can show you and help you and guide you through certain things,
and even just come and tell you you're doing okay.
Yes,
which is what Alyssa did for me.
An amazing job. Yes, because sometimes you just feel like, am I doing this? How do I do this? How do I deal with this little person? And just to have someone say, you know what, you're actually doing great. Don't be so hard on yourself or the baby, because you both don't know. I mean, you've learned a lot in the last year. Yeah, and a half.
So much.
Almost.
Oh my goodness. It's been a while. But I think it is that people don't know what's going to happen those first few days afterwards. And to have someone to call that's not only been with you through your pregnancy journey and been with you through your labor and knows your partner, knows your wishes and all that stuff, but also is a mother themselves and has been through it and has helped other mothers through it. So you've seen so much more than maybe someone's aunt or mom or sister, or even if they were to call that in. And it's just to have that person to say, you know what, this is very normal, or this isn't normal, let's call someone. I think that's also so great, and that's something that doulas can do for moms. I know you did it for me. That's what I mean. You did it for me.
Yeah, no, ours is a very special one. That's a very special relationship. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I just want to ask you, I know for me, you came in, we chatted briefly about it earlier, but for me, you came into my C-section. But how do you handle when something goes wrong? Or can you just explain to your moms or the people that are listening, when something doesn't go according to their birth plan? How do you help them through that? How do you handle it? My birth plan didn't go, and you were there by my side, but how do you see it from your perspective?
Okay, so from and I'll speak on your one if you don't mind, because obviously
Right.
yeah. So obviously, as things are progressing, you kind of start to see things are not going the way they should be going, kind of. Like I said, not medical, but you kind of get the feeling that things are not happening, because every time they checked, you weren't dilating, things were just not happening. So obviously, at some point, you need to make a decision and say, okay, look, we need to now obviously make that call, or are you willing to wait a little bit and stuff like that. Obviously, as you wait, the longer you wait, there's more danger and there's things like that. So in your one, I think for me, what I had done was I stepped out of the room, because obviously I need to be your support, but I needed just a moment to gather myself and to be able to come in and say to you, okay, look, this is what needs to happen now. This is what the midwife's advising. This is what the doctor's advising. And I think maybe from a safety perspective, this is what we should be going. And that's why I always say, keep that Caesar in the back of your mind, because you just never know what's going to happen. And that's what I did. So I had to step out, gather myself, and make sure that you as a priority and baby as a priority were the main thing. It wasn't about my feelings. It wasn't about what I wanted. It's never ever about me, ever. It's about what the family needs and wants at that moment in time. Because also, just out of, some moms want to water birth. Come birthing time, they're like, no, I'm birthing on the bed. And all through the pregnancy, it was, I'm water birth, but then at that point, you just don't know. And that is the most comfortable thing to do. So yes, when I stepped back in the room, I think I am sure I advised you and said, this is what's happening. We need to consider the Caesar at this point. And I
And I
know
think
you
you
were
also
very
stepped out
disappointed.
to help
Yes.
Matt and I, my husband and I, have a moment to just process
Yes.
what was going on as well,
Yeah.
which is important. You're not there to intrude. You gave us
No.
space and then came back in as a team to continue discussing what was happening.
Yes. Yes. So yes, that's also very important that we don't intrude on the family, because at that point, that's a huge decision to make. It was a huge decision to make. And obviously in the spur of the moment, because you didn't have a lot of time to process the whole thing, which turned out amazingly anyway. So yeah. It's not for us doulas to make any decisions for the parents. I always even say, if the mom wants pethidine, or she wants some sort of medication or an epidural, it's her choice at the end of the day. And if she
you're not going to
chooses
try
to
and
go with
convince
it,
her not to.
I can give her the facts and say to her, okay, I wouldn't advise it because of this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. If you feel that it's going to help you cope better, then go ahead. That's your choice. You ask for the stuff. And I don't advocate for you also. That's also something people need to know. We do not advocate for parents. Parents need to make the decisions. We give them advice. We give them facts. We give them evidence base. And from there, they then need to make the decision. So like the mom on Sunday as well that I had, the doctor advised some pethidine, and she gave her the pethidine and she was fine. And mom actually coped better having had the pethidine, because she was more relaxed and able to actually just handle the contractions that were coming. And at another stage, she was like, okay, I need my next dose. But she progressed so well that, having had the pethidine, I would say, if in her case, it worked for her. And it
And
was
each case is different.
for her. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, no, whatever the decisions are, it's not about us. It's not about the doula. It's about the family, and it's about the safety of mom and baby at the end of the day.
And it's not always as big as a case of C-section has to happen.
No.
Let's make a decision. It could be something like, where did the person birth? Maybe a decision about the positioning, or, okay,
Yes.
you can't, it doesn't seem to be working if you're on your back or on your hands and knees like you really wanted, or in the pool. Let's try this, let's try that. And you can kind of help the mom process and know that she's losing something that she wanted, but she's getting closer to where she needs to be.
Exactly. So I've been privileged enough to work with amazing doctors and amazing midwives and stuff like that. And in the last couple of births that I've had the privilege to be at, the doctors were very happy to allow the moms to just progress naturally. They were like not on the clock and like, okay, no, we need to do this by that time. Or no, they were like, okay, you're happy to carry on, we'll just wait. Like even on Sunday, they wanted to break the waters, and the mom was like, "No, I'm fine to wait and whatever." And they were only going to come back at 12, and she birthed by 5 to 11. Baby was out already.
Oh,
So
amazing.
they didn't expect any of that to happen, and waters broke naturally. The only intervention I would say she kind of had was the epithidine, but that actually relaxed her body so that she could cope with the contractions. Other than there was no interventions, there was nothing. The doctors were quite happy to just leave her and progress naturally, which was
Oh,
amazing.
that's good to hear, because a lot of fear mongering online as well about the doctors and about this.
Yeah. Look, you do have those doctors.
It's almost
that
like you have to go fight in birth, you
Yeah,
must fight for what you
there
want.
are
And it's
some,
nice to hear that they're not always like that.
yes, there are some doctors that are quite happy to allow that, which is amazing. Like I said, I've had the privilege, and it is an honor and a privilege to be in this space with all the moms in it. So, and also to be able to speak about doctors and midwives and that are so willing to let the process just happen naturally. I mean, the same doctor, I birthed with her in December, a mom also, and she was like, "No, mom, you can do it on all fours. Go ahead, we're gonna do it. Don't worry about me. You can birth as comfortably as you need to. I'll still be here to catch baby, but you do what you're most comfortable with," which is amazing, because most doctors, I mean, you always hear doctors saying, "No, you need to be on your back. You're gonna birth like that." And
Okay, now this flip
doctor was
over, put your legs out.
yes, exactly.
That's what they say
This
happens.
doctor was so amazing. She even explained to her how to push, when to push, with the ring of fire, why she needs to actually push through that pain and all of that type of thing. And she was amazing with the mom, absolutely amazing. I mean, I was in awe when I worked with this doctor. So yeah, that's why I say it's an honor and a privilege to be brought into these spaces where I'm able to see all these things. It seems like progress is happening. It's definitely happening. And the doctors also seem to be changing their mindsets and things like that as well.
What's also amazing about having a doula is that you can refer moms to these people that you've worked with, that you know. You can say you're looking for a pro this or a pro that, or you're struggling with this. I know my mom did this with this doctor and it worked. And so you have and again, this is another thing I'm trying to do. You have local information about local people that can help.
Yes.
Which is not something we have much of in South Africa. We have all these amazing providers, but we don't have, no one knows they exist. Dr. Google doesn't help us find them. And so it's so nice to have someone who has worked with people, and you've got a list of people that you know and trust and have seen them do the work. And that's something a doula can give anyone.
Yeah, and just also so that the moms know, we don't get anything by referring to doctors or midwives or anything. It's just the fact that we know how they work, and we would want you to have the best experience and the best birth. That's why we refer you to these people. We get nothing out of the entire deal. So there's not like, okay, I'm getting a kickback or anything, because I think people may feel that, okay, you keep referring to this person because there's a deal. There's no deals. It's just a matter of, I've firsthand seen how this person deals with the mom. And that is why. So the mama that birthed on Sunday also switched providers, I think at like 30 weeks or something. Because I advised her, I said, okay, just go for a second opinion. I said, it's your choice at the end of the day. If you choose to stay with your doctor, it's up to you. But just go and see. Speak to the person, see how you feel with the person. Are you happy? And what their advice is. And she was happy to switch, and there she birthed amazingly on Sunday. Amazing. Yeah.
It just happens to work out so nicely to have that recommendations. I mean, I find my whole team via recommendations. So it's the way it works. So it's just nice to have that community and expose moms to all the different amazing people out there. I want to ask about your toolkit.
Yes. Okay, so my toolkit. So what I have in my toolkit is generally, I use baby oil generally, because it also doesn't have too much of a smell, firstly, and it's also gentle on the mums. I do also use other oils and stuff like that, but generally I try to I like to use the baby oil. Just like I said, it just works better for me. Then also I have a heat pack, a bean bag. But now I see some of the hospitals have taken their microwaves out. A bit of a problem, because I don't know where I'm going to heat my bean bag. But anyway, So yeah, but a bean bag, because some moms like heat during labor, some of them don't. It just depends. Some of them want cold. I've also got a rebozo in my bag. A rebozo is a Mexican, it's a Mexican cloth that's been hand woven, which in Mexico they actually birth with this like constantly. Like it even becomes a wedding gift at some point. So when the mom gets married, she gets a rebozo, a special rebozo that she takes with her. And that's also just to assist with to like lift the tummy, to be able to take pressure off for mom. And I think you were exposed to that a little bit when you were pregnant at that time, because you had all that
Get that
pressure.
lift. You get
Yes,
that
you
lift
just
out.
you just sometimes just to get that pressure
Yeah.
off your pelvis and stuff like
So you
that.
can
So
breathe for a few seconds.
yes, yeah. So that, and also helps during labor with certain positions where you can help mom with the pain and and stuff like that. So those are the kind of things that I have in my toolkit. A paper plate, very good to use if there's no aircon. We have a paper plate handy to be able to fan mom, because
Brilliant.
sometimes they're getting hot. Yeah, those are some of the things. And obviously snacks for me, and my waters and my stuff like that for me, and then also for moms, because sometimes if they don't have with them, then I've just actually today learned something very interesting, that game isotonic is actually very good for moms, because iso means blood, so it actually pulls the water into the blood, which means it hydrates mom. And that I learned from my GP today. So I know
the game.
game isotonic. Yeah. So
That's the
it's
powder.
yes, yes. So it's actually better than the Energites, because it
Okay,
actually
and I like the
hydrates the
flavor
mom
of the
better.
game more.
Yes. So that I learned today, and I thought to myself, okay, I need to remember that, because I know in the public hospitals we generally keep that on hand so that we can give it to the moms. So just to give them that boost of energy, especially with the pushing. So, and also just to keep them hydrated and stuff like that, because most of them, well, once again, don't have privileges that we have in the private hospitals. So
No, it's a very different world. Very different.
very pretty, yeah.
Don't come packing with all their bags and their cooler boxes full of food. And
Yeah, some of them don't even
such a
have
different-
food. Some of them don't even come there with clothing for the baby, let alone themselves. So, yeah, very different world. And like I said, I'm also very privileged that I could be exposed to that in my training. Because when we trained, we had to do some practical hours. So, yes, to see that is actually very humbling, very, very humbling. So,
But I think it also helps you because it means that you can support moms and help them see they don't need all that extra stuff
no,
to get
actually
through.
don't.
Because you've
Yes,
seen it. You can say like, you don't. And you can help them prepare for it without everything, all that stuff. I mean, that stuff is nice. And it
yes,
helps set the tone and it helps keep everything. But like you said, we're made to birth and mostly we should be able to. There's
yes,
certain things don't go wrong, but to be able to show the mom that it's also within them and within
yes,
their team that the magic actually happens.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so you've got
Yeah,
experience with that.
yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
That's
I don't know
amazing.
if there's
So
anything else.
no, I want to go back to another thing,
Mm-hmm.
another thing that's in your toolkit that I don't think you realize,
Yes,
but you're a mom of 5.
yeah, I am.
You've had how many inductions?
Actually, all my babies were induced except my last one that was a Caesar.
Okay, so
So,
you've done 4 natural births,
yeah,
of which were inductions, 1
yes,
Caesar,
successful
one of your
inductions. Yeah,
successful inductions, yes.
yes,
One of your births was in Carl, which means the baby was born in the water. The water never broke.
yes. My fourth child, my son. Yeah, he was born 2007. Yes. So, just a quick birth story there. So, he was due on the 5th of September. And on the 4th of September, I got up and I wasn't feeling too well. My tummy had gone out and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I think something's going to happen, but I wasn't sure, feeling a bit nauseous and stuff. So hubby and I rushed to the hospital, because I mean, that's kind of what you get told. As soon as something happens, just go to the hospital. So rushed off to the hospital, 7 o'clock traffic and stuff like that. Got to the hospital and the doctor's like, okay, you kind of like 1 centimeter, because I'd never gone naturally into labor, obviously. So, and he's like, okay, but I can induce you, or otherwise you can just go home and we can wait it out. And I'm like, I was used to the inductions, because that was kind of like I was always told, okay, no, we can just induce you and, bring baby on. So I was kind of like, okay, fine, we'll do that. I got induced at about 9 the morning. He did the induction. Baby was born 10 to 12. But the most intense pain ever, because all the inductions are, but I think for me, I thought it was normal, because having been induced with every child, it was kind of like normal. The pain's supposed to be so intense. And my husband was with me with this one, and he held my hand, and he said to me afterwards, like, I just stood there. There was nothing I could do. He didn't know that he could rub my back. He didn't know that, there was nobody that told us that he could actually be part of this entire thing. And then when I got to a stage where I was ready to push, the nurse literally just turned me. I was on my side. She turned me on my back. And as I laid there, baby literally just slipped out. So I didn't even really push it. Doctor never made it. My gynae never made it. And he was downstairs. His rooms are literally downstairs. He never made it. And baby came out. And I felt as baby was born, because yes, he was born on call and everything. And as he was born, she nicked the amniotic sac, and then I felt the waters and stuff. And he cried once, and then he just slept again. He was like, okay, I'm done. That's the whole birthing thing. Yeah. And strangely enough, he was my biggest baby as well, 3.6 kilos.
And that's a very fast labor.
Yeah, that was very, very quick.
Yeah.
So I think because my body was used to the induction or the process of induction, because it never went naturally. So like, it's kind of like my body knew, okay, this is what I need to do. Because all my second, third, and fourth birth were very, very quick. All like about 3 hours. Baby was there. Yeah.
But what you have in your toolkit is you know what it's like to be induced, so you can help a mom with that. But you also know, and I think this is not something that always happens, you know how to recover from a natural birth and from a C-section, because there's a very different.
Yes.
Which is something to know how to prep for the two different things, because there are, again, different situations.
Yes.
And I think that's something important to have in your toolkit, because but the statistics, it's inevitable that some moms will have C-sections, and to have that guidance and that help. I know I did one, it was a 1.5 hour class in C-section in my pregnancy. I was like, I'm going natural, only doing this just in case. And that was the only thing I had in my church at the end. I was like, that's the only thing I knew was this one little tiny class that I'd taken on it.
Yes.
So it's nice to have someone who knows.
Yes. Yeah. Having physically had to go through the C-section as well. Look, I if I could do it again, I would birth naturally 1,000 times over. Honestly, I would not choose a C-section unless it was like really, really like danger, and it was like an emergency and baby had to be out. Then I would obviously choose it. I don't think my C-section was an emergency, because I saw my doctor this Saturday. And then he's like, no, we'll just book you on the list for Wednesday. Something afterwards you realize, but if it was such an emergency, why didn't he book me, be like, go fetch your bags, we're going in now. Because baby's in danger, we need to get baby out now. And then I realized, okay, it was December. He was going on holiday a week later. And, all those things we always hear from, that the fear-mongering that we speak of. Years later, I only realized that was what actually happened. And I should have gone for a second opinion. And I'm sure that I would have been either been able to birth. I probably would have been able to birth naturally, because I'd done it 4 times before. Why was this any different? Even though she was breech, but she would have. I'm sure we could have turned her, or had I gone to a midwife or something, I could have had a different outcome. But I also am grateful that I had these, because, like you say, I can now speak to other moms about this and say to them, okay, these are kind of signs you look out for. Or if you do have a seizure, this is what you can do. This is how you look after yourself. Please don't pick up heavy things. The heaviest thing you pick up is your baby. Don't be driving and, things like that. And actually rest, because you've been through major surgery. And I think a lot of people have been saying this, that a C-section is the only surgery that you go through. It's major abdominal surgery, and when you're done, they hand you a human being and be like, okay, now look after this. Look after this
human being.
And they
don't give you any rehab. They've cut
Nothing.
through
There's
all
like,
your muscles. They cut through. You go through a knee surgery, you immediately go to a physiotherapist, you got a rehab program, do this. Yeah, they go 3 days later, you're sleeping.
but not even 3 days
Start
later,
a
hours
few
later.
hours later, get up and
Few
start
hours
walking
later,
around.
as soon as the anesthetic wears off, it's like kind of like, okay, get up, mom. You need to go to the bathroom. And by the way, there's a baby to look after. So don't forget to feed it, change it, and this is now your thing. Yeah, there's no rehab, there's nothing. And I think that's where you also come in with the yoga classes for the postpartum and all of that, which is so important. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, I think
basically
that
why
it's
I built the program that I built, because it was just like
yes,
there's nothing. Then
yeah,
they just don't give you in. And then there's
no,
all these people living with all this back pain, pelvic floor problems, stomach pains, shoulder pains, all related to the fact that you didn't rehab from surgery.
yeah, yeah. Or otherwise, we have our lovely mummy rolls that we've had for years because we didn't know that we could do, postpartum exercises and certain things to actually help you to get your body back, type of thing.
Exactly.
So
No, but that's a
yeah,
whole conversation for another day. That's
yes, of course,
postpartum is it's huge. But you have that knowledge to help moms through
through
the
that
different
as well.
kinds of births that are possible.
Yes, yes,
So that's another thing that's really nice about doulas. And I like that wombs training waits for you to be a mom first.
yes,
That
yes,
you can work with moms from experience
yes,
and bring something special to the
yes.
table.
And then just something else on that as well. Every when we go through the moms training, also every mom has their own story, and sometimes some of the moms that are training to become doulas don't even become doulas because they're actually just healing their own trauma. There are some moms that never actually go into actual practice of becoming a doula. It's just something that they needed to heal some sort of trauma that they've been through and stuff like that. And I must also admit that having done this, it's also healed a lot of my like my Caesar trauma that I never actually dealt with. It was when I was doing the training that I actually realized that was a traumatic birth for me because I didn't know what was happening. It just happened so quickly. And like you said, there was nothing afterwards. No physiotherapy, nothing to heal me afterwards. And I just thought, okay, it's just normal. You have the baby, you carry on. To find out like years later that it's not something that you can, that you can, that you something you haven't dealt. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So that was something else that helped me also through this whole process, and that also now that I can help other moms before they even have to go through that trauma to advise them and say to them, okay, but you have options. There are so many other things that you can do. Yeah.
So they don't feel forced or pressured or anything.
Exactly.
And then there's that residual trauma that comes afterwards. Because I think birth trauma is very prevalent at the
Yes.
moment. And
Yes.
for past generations, I mean, for a while, it's been
Yes.
not been looked at. Everyone's just kind of been ignoring it under the rug there. Now everyone needs to start unpacking it, and we can start. You see, the hospitals are starting to listen, and hopefully we
Yes.
can move forward in a way that there isn't as much trauma on
Exactly.
moms.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And just allow us to go back to like, my husband is 51 now, and his mom birthed all her kids at home. Not one in a hospital. So why now? I mean, he's only 51. So it's not like this has been happening for like 2000 years. It's like 50, almost 50 years ago, people were birthing at home. So why can't that be anymore?
Why is it now
Why
suddenly
do you
in a
have to
hospital
go
bed?
into, yes, why do you have to go into a hospital bed and stuff like that? Why can't it be, like that? Because it is a natural process. It's as natural as going to the bathroom. Something, nobody know, you don't need, to go
Coaching.
yes, you don't need coaching or a specific place to go do that. It's just like you do it. Your body just knows what to do. Same thing with birth. Your body knows what to do. But that's if you allow it to do what it needs to.
And I think that circles back around to the fact that it's not just physical. It's mental as well. It's spiritual.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff that happens in your brain and your thought process around birth actually affects whether or not you manage to
Yes.
get through the physical experience. And I think that's
Yes.
also the stories that are being told. You have to go to the OB, you have to go to the hospital, you have to do all these things. That's already starting the layers and layers of stories that you
Yes.
have to go through. And people think home births are not safe and hospital births are safer. And it's just another, I love these conversations, but a whole other can of worms.
Yes. Yes.
But it is a mental process
Very
to
much. Very
prepare.
much.
It's not just
Yes.
physical. Yeah.
Yes. I always tell moms it's very much a head game, because if you tell yourself that you can't, you won't be able to do it. And if you tell yourself that you can, you will. But obviously within the realms of safety for mom and baby, obviously. So yeah, we're not gonna be like they're saying, okay, we're going to go birth in the ocean and like weird things. Like, no. It obviously has to be
Although that does
safe.
happen.
It does happen. No, it does happen. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure that mom was fine doing that. But I mean, and that was her choice, and that was her story, and her process. But obviously, we need to consider. I think for me, ultimately, it's mom and baby safety. Ultimately, so
And
as
that
long as
comes to a
mom and
lot
baby, yeah,
with any
as long
doula
as
you
they're
speak
safe.
to. They want to help you with your preferences. That's what I see. Help with the preferences, help get the ideal birth, but also help get everyone through safely and happy to the other side.
Yes, yes. That's ultimately the main thing. Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to bring up or say? I think you've covered so much ground.
No, I think I have covered quite a bit. I think I don't think there's anything else at the moment. No. I think I'm good.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on then, Alyssa. It's been such
Thanks,
a nice chat to go through everything and to hear your perspective on the whole doula thing. Can't wait to get this out for all the moms to see and to listen and to just feel encouraged to do it their way, to do it, with their own interests and hearts.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ash. I really appreciate it too. Okay.
Awesome.